Welcome to another monthly favorites video. This time I put June and July together to make a bigger list. Hope you guys enjoy. Movies and shows. Castlevania. I finished this Netflix show and it has to be one of their best animated shows. It's so good. If you love a bit of horror, politics, and a lot of fighting, watch this show. Plus the animation is solid. Whisper of the Heart. A cute Studio Ghibli movie filled to the brim with 90s nostalgia. I really loved it. But don't expect a big fantasy movie that's hinted on the cover. Instead, get ready for a story about a young girl trying to find her own purpose and happiness without hurting those around her. Matilda. I learned this movie was a cornerstone in my childhood because while I was watching, I cried 3, almost 4 times. There's a quote by Miss Honey. You were born into a family that doesn't always appreciate you, but one day things are going to be very different. That quote tore me apart. I love this movie for shaping my young mind, and I know I'll always have this film very close to my heart. Fast and Furious 7. I didn't really like this movie, but then I haven't really enjoyed a Fast movie since the 5th one. There were so many times they let the bad guy get away, I couldn't enjoy the movie. There was a scene I really liked though, when Shaw was fighting in the plane with the baby. Top 5 best moments in the entire franchise. The Terminal. A Tom Hanks movie, very cute and funny. I thought the ending would have been a lot more different with more change in the main characters' lives, but I still enjoyed it. Midnight Diner. I love this show. I've watched the original and Tokyo Stories, and I recently found out there's a manga, so I'm gonna be on the lookout for that now. I really love the storytelling in this show. It's amazing. Memoirs of a Geisha. A beautiful movie, especially a specific scene where the main character performs a dance in front of everyone. The imagery of this movie was amazing. The Two Popes. This was a life-changing movie, honestly. Bold on philosophy and the politics of religion. I lived every minute of this film, even when I was smothered with guilt and grief. Also, some of the best acting I've seen in a long time. Pan's Labyrinth. A fairy tale sort of spin-off, taking a much darker turn than I was expecting. There's a part towards the beginning involving a wine bottle that set the tone for the film and is terrifying. But I love the setting and the acting. Visually, this movie is still impressive. I'm super happy I finally watched it. One Punch Man. I finally finished the first season of this show. I liked the beginning of it a lot more than the middle and the end, but I think it's just because I saw sections of the city get wiped out a bunch of times, and it just made me feel bad for all the citizens that were getting absolutely squashed. But the final battle of the season was really satisfying. Rango. This was my second time watching the movie. The first time I watched it, I was blown away by the rattlesnake's animation, specifically the flow of scales and its movements. It still looks good, but it's definitely aged. Still enjoyed the rewatch though. A Quiet Place 2. I loved the first one, and this one is such a nice end to the story. The monsters still look great. There's still this crazy feeling of terror you feel when watching, and the acting is so good. Mike Tyson Mysteries. This show is funny as shit. I cannot. This is a cartoon that takes on a new mystery every episode, and more than half the time, it ends in someone dying. If you want to laugh, definitely watch this show. Hook. A cute kids movie with amazing sets and one of the best Captain Hooks I've ever seen. I didn't even recognize the actor under it until my boyfriend pointed it out. I like the movie, but I'm sad I didn't enjoy it as much as I did when I was a kid. Horns. I watched this right after Hook, and what a change in tone. This movie is built around sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Not really, but it uses plenty of it in its storytelling. I really love the story, but only watch this if you're into dark humor. Yes, Man. I finally watched this. It was cute, but honestly, it just made me want to watch The Truman Show again. I love Jim Carrey, but I don't think he wanted to be in this movie. Spice and Wolf. I stopped watching this anime around episode 4. The animation was cute, but the story was about trading coins, and I was just not interested. I was waiting for it to move on, but I clicked through a bit in the next few episodes, and I don't know if it does. The Crucible, a fictional book about the Salem witch trials being orchestrated by a young girl who managed to manipulate a whole town. I loved it. Very emotional and a very quick read. I read it in like a day. I love when books use history as a backdrop for fiction. This one was done really well. Book 1 of The Ancient Magus Bride. A manga I picked up from the bookstore about a girl who's purchased by a big demon-looking dude who plans to marry her and also take her under his wing. I love the art style and the story is very interesting so far. I'm very eager to learn about everyone's backstory. Some new favorite artists and creators. Sean James. I've been listening to his first 2 albums and they're amazingly raw. It's so great to see his growth, mainly in the production area of his music. My new favorite off of these is The Thief in the Moon. He uses such powerful storytelling in this piece. Definitely give it a listen. Haunted by Madeline the Human. What a beautiful song that I randomly found out on a workout video on YouTube. I'm super grateful to have found it. It's so sweet and sad. It's my bread and butter. Hosier. It took me so long to get to this album because I didn't like Take Me to Church when it was featured on the radio. But I should know by now that radio stations love to pick the weakest song on the album to feature. When I got to the actual meat of the album, I fell in love. I've added nearly half of the songs to my playlist. Girl in Red, Forget Her. Maybe it's because I'm so ready for fall, or I just love stories about gay love and heartbreak, but I've been listening to this song on repeat for a while. Such a good time. I think that's it for these past 2 months. I hope everyone has a great month. Thanks for watching. Bye!